So I got this digital 8 that I just had in a while back, the one that had the bad power switch. It is back, and he says it's making noises. Let's see what's making noises on this unit. Ooh. That sounds like a drum bearing, actually. That might not be good. We'll see why it's making noises, or is something touching. Is something touching the drum? It sure sounds like something's rubbing on the drum, doesn't it? Well, I guess we got to pull the side off it to take a look and see what's going on, why it's making that noise. So we'll pull the could be dirt in it for that matter. But it certainly wasn't making any noises when it was here for the power switch repair. You guys remember this is the one I had to take the switch apart to clean it. Okay. Well, something is certainly dragging in there. Let's see if we can open up the top of the tape compartment here and take a look. Let's see what the heck is making all that racket. Of course, I got to pull the front off the camera because unlike mine, this one's not modified to open this piece up. It sounds like something is touching to either the motor underneath or the drum. Something is rubbing. Okay, this piece should lift off so we can inspect and see if anything's touching. I don't see anything touching. Probably shouldn't blow on the tape. I guess my moisture from my breath caused the tape to stick. Well, that certainly is the drum. It sounds like the bearing is wearing out. If I tilt it, it gets louder. It's playing. I'm just going to try putting some compressed air in here to see whether it's something that can be dislodged. I think it's the bearing. I've heard them go bad before, right? Especially when you're playing a digital 8 tape. This is only running at 1800 RPM. If I put a digital 8 tape in, this thing is going to speed right up to 4500. We'll just throw a digital 8 tape in just so you can hear how loud it's going to get. But it sure sounds like the bearing itself is on its last legs. So now you can really hear it screaming. The unit's playing fine. But the only thing I can do on this, other than what I've just done, is perhaps pop the unit apart and just see if anything's dropped in behind, in between the rotor and the actual coil itself, if some dirt or something dropped in there. Which is a possibility. It's not likely. It's usually the bearings that go bad, but I'll tear the unit apart just for the hell of it, just to see whether there's any dirt or anything that's in here. But I will give you a spoiler alert. It's not. And yes, I did figure it out. And it's not what you're thinking. I've never seen this happen before. But I'm going to keep you guys in suspense as to what the problem is. And then you're going to laugh, because I sure as hell did when I figured it out. After taking it apart, that is, and putting it all back together. I'll spare you guys the agony of taking this thing apart, and we'll just get right down to it. But we'll pull it apart anyway, because I took this one down a lot further than a lot of other cameras to do an inspection. So let's speed this up and get this thing apart quickly. as I put this thing together, I just had an idea what this might be. I wonder if the cassette is rubbing up against the drum. I wonder if it's a piece of the lid from the cassette is touching. I bet you it's a piece of the drum, is a piece of the lid is touching up against the drum. I bet you that's what it is. Try another tape that has not been into this camera before. See, when it was playing there, and all of a sudden I had it playing for a couple minutes and it got less loud. I think it's a piece of the cassette is touching. See how loud that one is? That would be, maybe the cassette is pushed in a little too far. Possibility that the cassette has gone in just a little bit too far and it's touching up against the drum right here. Or else the lid is not being lifted. It could be the lid's not being lifted high enough too. I wonder if that's the case. Let's just see if I can pull the lid up more. That's what it is. The lid is not being lifted quite high enough. And it's touching up against the drum. I was just thinking about that after putting it together. I thought, wonder if it's the cassette. And that is exactly what it is. It's the cassette. Now there's a lever that lifts up the tape, I believe, here. Where is it? It's there's a little arm. Well, it's not so much an arm. It's the piece of the chassis right down. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'm gonna have to, there it is. See this? I think this is the lid lifter. Right. Let me get my finger in there. Right down here. That is the piece that lifts the lid when you push it down. That lifts up the lid. And I bet you it's bent slightly. Just see if we can just bring this up a little bit so that it lifts the lid a little higher. Okay, I bent that up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it because I don't know if I was framed up there, but I just lifted this little lever up a bit here, right down there. I just bent that up a little bit more up. Let's just see whether that will lift the lid a little higher and prevent it from making contact. Well, folks, I think I just solved the mystery. I've never seen this before. I've had those bearings wear out that make lots of noise, but I've never ever seen one like that, where a piece of the chassis, gotta rewind my tape, it's at the end. Now, to all the guys that checked out on the video, because I'm going to leave this right to the end, all the guys that checked out, come back at the end, see that it's actually resolved. But there it is playing, it's quiet. And it's playing. I got the sound turned down because obviously this is going to have music that I can't show. I shot this like, I don't know, over 20 years ago. I forget what year it was, but it was probably like about 23 years ago. Dance recital that I was doing. I used to do lots of this stuff. Multi-camera, well, 2 cameras, but I used to do lots of this type of stuff all the time. And then we got a little bit of hot water because we were selling, we were doing it for the performers, but they were getting multiple copies a lot of times. And then we ran into a little bit of hot water because, well, let's just say the music they were performing was covered by copyright, and the fact that I was recording the show and making copies of it, record companies didn't really like that. So we had to stop. It became they had to hire me, and they had, it just a whole bunch of legal issues got involved. I had another one that I did where a performer hired me to do her performance, and I wanted to try to, make money by selling copies to the, so let's sell tapes, let's sell copies of the performance that you're doing. And no, we can't do it because the music that she's performing, she doesn't have a license for distribution. So, okay, so I'm going to shoot your performance for you, and it's going to cost you $1,000. And of course, they didn't want to pay that. Well, then I guess we're not shooting your performance. And that's one of the reasons I stopped doing things like dance recitals and stuff, was because it just became a big headache to deal with the whole licensing for music that they were using to perform. Okay, mystery has been solved on this one. Thanks for watching.